It's a brisk but beautiful morning up here at the homestead. It's about -9 Celsius. I think that's about 15 Fahrenheit. And just wanted to do a little quick update on my progress up at the off-grid homestead here for YouTube. But one thing I wanted to tell you about that I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start doing more content on BitChute. And that's where I'll let loose a little bit more. I'm intentionally censoring myself here on YouTube just because I don't see a reason to have my channel with 800 plus videos on gardening and market gardening, which are valuable to people. I don't see any value in having those deleted or censored. So I'm going to keep myself relatively tame here on YouTube. And this is why I delete my live streams once they're done. They're all up at fromthefield.tv. But I want to just give you guys a little update on what's happening up here. So we have just erected this steel building, which is going to be my shop, and there's still quite a bit of work to do on it, but the bulk of the work is done now because all the bolts are in, and these buildings are fantastic. I'm quite amazed on actually like the scope of it now that we've got it up. It is 30 feet wide by 20 feet deep, and it's 15 feet high in the center. So once I have it all closed in, I will at some point probably put some kind of mezzanine in here, because why not? And I'll put a fireplace in here. I've hired guys to do this. I don't have the time to do all this right now, and so got a great crew that's doing this for me. I'll do a lot of the work once it's up on the inside, but they'll be walling in the back here with steel. And then I've got an insulation kit that comes in. It's basically just these battens that you roll through, and then there's these little spikes that come off the bolts, and then you just kind of, these little caps go on to hold the insulation in. So it's fairly straightforward. On this end, I'm leaving this end. I'm going to do a custom wall here because I want to have a lot of windows. This is actually totally south orientated. It's perfectly facing the south, and because it's a relatively short building, I will be able to get a lot of light coming in here from the south. So I'm going to put a bunch of windows, a garage door, a man door in here. This will be my workshop, office, you name it. Everything that I do, I'll be doing in here. And so I'm super stoked to get this up, especially so that I can do some work in the winter. There was some challenges with this thing, like the foundation for this, the slab, gets you to do this sort of gutter down here. And it's smart as far as the construction is concerned, because it really keeps this wall in here solid. The problem is we had some precipitation and freezing during that time, and this whole channel that is basically a big U shape that goes around the whole building was filled with ice, and it took me 8 hours to get it out. Basically a combination of a hammer, a flat shovel, a tiger torch, and pots of boiling water. It was and a shop vac. It was a royal pain in the ass because the temperature hasn't gone above freezing here. Well, it has a couple times, but not long enough for the ice to melt. So that was a bit of a pain in the butt. So yeah, that's what's happening now. Yeah, I'm really excited to get that going. And plans have been really moving along here. I have my photogrammetry survey now completely done. I did a video of that up at fromthefield.tv. There was two videos with my friend Javin Bernakovich where we did a full survey of this land. Him and I basically combed the place, and we used some GPS equipment, or a GIS equipment maybe it's called. We rented some stuff. We had a base unit at the top of the property. We had a rover unit that basically triangulates between the base unit and satellites and the rover unit to give you down to the millimeter elevation and longitude and latitude. And so we basically surveyed the entire 40 acres, and then we flew a drone. We put ground control points on the ground, and then this drone did a photogrammetry survey, and so I've put that together. I'll show a little bit of it here, but I've got some detailed videos covering how we did that up at FromTheField.tv, and just put another vlog out recently showing kind of the results of the survey, and I'm super stoked about it because it's allowed me to make some real serious plans about what's going on up here. And my property is on a mountain ridge essentially, and part of my property line actually goes over this mountain ridge. So where my house sits and where our home base sits, we're about only 100 feet below the top of this ridge. And so we've got this kind of crown area, that's what I call it, where there's about 8 acres here which are very usable with some terracing. And so my plan is to do some terracing up here. So the plan is to do a bunch of terracing up here, and there's this main sort of crown area which is close to the house. And I had an excavator guy come in here and give me some ideas on what we could do. And we're basically going to level out this area. I'm going to bring in a 200 sized backhoe excavator with a blade on the front. I'm going to be chopping down trees during the winter. He suggested actually cutting these down first because it doesn't really matter where they fall. There's nothing in the way. Because if he pushes them down, it gets dirt everywhere, and then when you go to buck the trees up, it just really wrecks your chainsaw. So I'm going to be doing some logging this winter, which will be fun. And so we're going to terrace out this area up top here. This is going to give me a ½ acre. And this area kind of comes down a bit further, and then there'll be another terrace that kind of wraps around this crown. And there's 3 terraces. There's this one up here, one below, and then another one below that will wrap around. And that's going to give me a total of 1½ acres of flat ground, albeit not, you know, perfectly square like you would see at any of the other farms I've done in the past, but flat enough and square enough that I can use it. And so there'll be food forests, there'll be garden beds, there'll be greenhouses. All my greenhouses and stuff like that will go up on this area up here. And this is probably where I'll put my wood mill as well. And maybe I'll put another concrete slab up here in the spring, we'll see. But right now, nothing's really gonna happen in the winter because it's pretty set now. But yeah, that's what's going on right now. Another thing that's gonna happen, we're gonna get that excavator into my pond area here. This area is 4,000 square feet. And when I had Dakota Cohen and Rob Avis up here, we put a penetrometer down in here and we measured, there's a lot of topsoil. There's probably 6 to 10 feet. And so we're gonna be skinning this out as well, and we'll be harvesting that topsoil to use on the farm or on the homestead. And so we'll have an excavator in here with a dump truck, and then we'll be moving that topsoil out to the crown area. So the first thing I have to do is level out the crown area so I have a place to put this stuff. Then I'm going to excavate this, get that topsoil up there, start on my garden beds. I can use my skid steer for a lot of that work while the guys go and make those other terraces. But I calculated that we would get about 900 yards of topsoil out of here, and who knows, that could be wrong. That's basically saying 6 feet of soil times 4,000 square feet, and that's enough soil to give me 4 inches on an acre and a half. So we'll see if that plays out, but that's the calculation, and that's one of the plans. We want to turn this into a massive water harvesting area. This is a natural draw. And if you are a FromTheField.tv member, if you're not, I would encourage you to be there. I've had so much detailed content about all this. But when I had Rob Avis and Dakota Cohen up here, we did a very extensive consult on the land. And this area here is a major draw. This is an area where a massive amount of water comes to in the spring through the snowmelt. And it's where topsoil has been harvesting here for probably millions, potentially thousands or millions of years, who knows, but a long time. And there's a lot deposited here, so we can use that here on the property, and then also make this a better area for water harvesting, a pond in here, maybe a little skating rink for my kids, and it'll be a lot of fun. So that's my update for this one, guys. If you want to come along for another walk that I'm going to take, a little walk and talk about some macro issues and some things that are on my mind lately, join me. That video will be up on BitChute, and the link will be right in the show notes here of this YouTube video. BitChute is where I put all the Liberty on the Land podcasts, and I do have more coming soon, and they'll all be there. So if you want to join me for another talk, follow the link below in the show notes. Otherwise, join me at FromTheField.tv, where I'm documenting all the work that I do in long form content. It's all there, and it's we're almost about to break 1,000 videos at FromTheField.tv, so I hope to see more of you guys there. All right, we'll see you on the next video or in the walk and talk I'm about to do. See you there.